Leonardo da Vinci's Mona Lisa needs no introduction. This is one of those paintings that everyone knows well, so what more can you find out about it? Perhaps the mysterious beauty of this Renaissance masterpiece has some secrets. Also, I think the questions that are asked most often hold interesting answers. After all, who was the Mona Lisa? Why is this painting so famous? Who is the real Mona Lisa? Ah, you didn't know? There's more than one version of this painting, yes. Well, let's go ahead and find out these answers.
All right, I want some answers.
The Mona Lisa depicts a woman seated in an armchair, and her body is almost entirely turned toward the viewers. Her left arm rests under the armchair, while her right hand rests gently on her left hand. This positioning gives her an appearance of slightly leaning to the left as she sits comfortably. The Mona Lisa is dressed in silky clothing, and there appears to be a fabric over her left shoulder, which is possibly a scarf. Her bodice is pleated with a gold-embroidered cutout, which also reveals the upper parts of her neck and breast. Her hair is loose, going down to just below her shoulders, which are slightly visible. A thin, dark veil over her head seems to follow the length of her hair. She is not wearing any jewelry. The landscape behind the Mona Lisa is a subject of wide debate for analysis. To the right, in the background and below, is a bridge to a winding path leading to a distant body of water. This body of water appears to flow into an ocean further on. All around, it is possible to see jagged mountain ridges. Behind the seated Mona Lisa is an extensive landscape. The closest appears to be an area of dry land with a winding road on the left that leads to a large body of water further away. Some people believe that this landscape comes from Leonardo da Vinci's imagination, and others think it is based on a real scene from an Italian countryside. It also appears that Lisa is sitting on a balcony, as there is a long vertical structure behind her, and indications that there are two pillars on either side of her.
But maybe it's something else? I think this could look something like this. Maybe this is what Da Vinci had in mind for her future? Sometimes my imagination runs a little wild. Drop a comment if you agree with me.
Originally, the colors of the painting would have included shades of green, blue, red, and flesh tones. The oil paint creates a soft texture in the composition. There are also implied textures, such as the fabrics of the Mona Lisa's clothing, the softness and translucency of the veil over her hair, the silky folds of the sleeves of her dress, the soft curls of her hair, and the smoothness of her skin. The landscape behind seems to contrast with these elements, as the rocky mountain terrain in counterpart seems rough. It is noticeable that Leonardo da Vinci applied the sfumato technique to this painting. This technique consists of the subtle blending of shades or shadows so that they transition naturally. You can see the subtle transition of light and dark in Mona Lisa's mouth and in the corners of her eyes. The sfumato gives a more naturalistic effect to the composition and eliminates obvious outlines. Now, another impressive thing is the way Leonardo da Vinci uses lines in this composition. They are curved along the winding path in the distance. This creates a subtle contrasting effect with the Mona Lisa sitting in the foreground. She herself has several curved lines created in the folds of her robes and in her overall voluptuousness. The shapes and forms in Mona Lisa have a pronounced naturalism, evident in the central figure itself and in the landscape behind it. In the landscape, this naturalism appears in the natural curvatures created by the path, the flow of water, and the sharp edges of the rugged terrain. As for the space shown in the painting, Da Vinci used aerial perspective to give the illusion of depth and three-dimensional space. To do this, he created a misty and blurred background, as you can see in the distant mountains, compared to the foreground where you see the Mona Lisa clearer and in focus. Depth is created through scale, such as the bridge on the right in the landscape and the natural terrain, which seems smaller in scale compared to the figure in the foreground. So, as you can see so far, much of the painting's fame comes from the techniques Da Vinci has used so far. But who is the Mona Lisa anyway? The woman protagonist of this artwork is related to Francesco del Giocondo, who who commissioned the painting. It is said that he was a silk merchant, and his wife was Lisa del Giocondo. Yes, the Mona Lisa really did exist. Her name was Lisa, and the term Mona originates from the Italian word mona, used politely to refer to a woman. Besides Mona Lisa, the painting is also known as La Gioconda, which refers to the woman's last name, but can also be translated as jovial. Right, as I mentioned before, there is a peculiar question to ask about this painting, which is, where is the Mona Lisa? Discussions about this and also about the identity of the woman arose with the Italian writer and historian Giorgio Vasari. In his seminal text called The Lives of the Most Excellent Painters, Sculptors, and Architects, 1550, Vasari mentioned how Da Vinci undertook to do a portrait of Francesco del Giocondo's wife, the Mona Lisa, and after a few years working on the painting, left it unfinished. Wait a minute, the Mona Lisa painting is not finished? Huh? I will explain more clearly. Many scholars actually disputed the accuracy of Vasari's account, as there was a possibility that he did not have all the information about Da Vinci and the Mona Lisa, or did not know about Da Vinci's whereabouts at that time. But of course, this possibility raises some curiosities about what is true and what is not. The version of the Mona Lisa that everyone knows is the one that is currently in the Louvre Museum and is said to be finished. But if this is so, then why did Vasari mention that Da Vinci had left the Mona Lisa unfinished? Was he referring to a possible other copy? Other scholars have ascertained that Da Vinci did in fact work on another painting of Lisa del Giocondo. The evidence for this painting was found in the well-known Heidelberg document found by Dr. Armin Schlechter. In this document, Dr. Schlechter found a note dated October 1503 written by Agostino Vespucci, a Florentine clerk and chancellor, on one of the letters of the Roman philosopher Marcus Tullius Cicero, dated 1477. In this note, Vespucci wrote about the painting of Lisa del Giocondo. Apparently, the painting of Mona Lisa, the one in the Louvre, was never given to Francesco del Giocondo and was kept with Da Vinci until his death. This is why Vasari mentions the painting being unfinished, as Da Vinci was adding some finishing touches over time. When Da Vinci moved to France in 1516 to live and work at the Chateau du Clos-Lucé in Amboise, it is speculated that he also worked on the Mona Lisa during this time and left it to his apprentice, Salai. There is a wide debate around the theory that there would be more than one copy of the Mona Lisa. So the question, where is the Mona Lisa, gets even more complex. In fact, there is a famous copy of the Mona Lisa, which is in the Prado Museum. This version was painted by Salai and possibly copied from the original that Leonardo da Vinci was working on at the time. Prado's copy provides more visual information about the colors used, since this version does not have the yellow layer like the Louvre's Mona Lisa. Also, in this version, the two columns on either side of the Mona Lisa appear more clearly. In Mona Lisa, Da Vinci painted a half-length portrait different than the common profile formats of portrait paintings. Here, you see the young woman almost completely facing you, the viewer. After Mona Lisa became famous, it is believed that this more frontal format influenced many other artists. Leonardo da Vinci is believed to have been inspired by Northern Renaissance painters to use this style. A much-mentioned example is the Portrait of a Young Man in Prayer by Hans Hemling. Something interesting to mention is that the Mona Lisa has been stolen and vandalized on several occasions.
Stolen?
In 1911, Italian Vincenzo Perugia was working at the Louvre and stole the painting to return it to what he thought was its rightful place in Italy. He kept the painting for about 2 years until he was discovered trying to sell it to the director of the Uffizi Gallery, who alerted the police. Later, in 1956, Hugo Uñaga Villegas, a Bolivian man, threw a stone at the painting. It is said that he only wanted to throw the stone because it was in his pocket, without any more consistent reason. On another occasion, Mona Lisa fell victim to a woman, Tomoko Yonetsu, at the Tokyo National Museum. She threw red paint at the painting in protest against the museum's policies on disabled access. There was also a case in 2009 at the Louvre Museum when a Russian woman smashed the teacup against the painting, angered that she had not received her French citizenship. The most recent case was in May 2022 when a man dressed in woman's clothing in a wheelchair threw a piece of cake at the Mona Lisa painting. His protest was to draw attention to climate change. On all these occasions that the Mona Lisa was vandalized, the painting was not too badly damaged, as it was protected by a glass casing. There is extensive of research and many theories surrounding the Mona Lisa painting, that there are other secret versions, and the landscape is in fact real or fictional. There's even a theory that the Mona Lisa was Leonardo da Vinci's mother. Like, what? The Mona Lisa has become a celebrity among paintings, the object of admirers and haters alike. It is impossible to cover all the facts, theories, and conspiracies about this painting. But what is important to know is that Leonardo da Vinci created a timeless masterpiece with Mona Lisa, and it is certain to continue to impress people for much longer. So, did you enjoy learning more about the Mona Lisa from these perspectives? Does she seem more amazing in your eyes now, or boring? The mix of reactions that this painting causes is also remarkably one of its greatest mysteries. If you want to see more videos like this, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and enable notifications to stay in touch. See you next time!